Hello, AFCM family. Pablo Gamez here, coming at you with a Friday inspiration, all the way from wonderful Wilmer, Minnesota. You know how it goes. Um, I just had a few thoughts here about discipleship. It's kind of because I've been doing some things recently in this matter. It's kind of got me on that mind frame. And we quickly look at Matthew 28:19, where it says, go and make disciples of all nations. And I was thinking about that, and it says, if I'm going, I'm seeking to find those, right, to sort of disciple, but also with us thinking, for some of us, the mindset of I seek to be the one discipled as well, and there's a lot of benefits to that sort of things. I mean, modern day sort of terminology would be like mentorship, and you could also share the vision of a ministry that way, and primarily one of the biggest benefits would be just to teach someone how to walk with God. Someone who's new. Just because you just came to the Lord, you got saved recently, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're kind of being taught and walked through uh, on how to do those things. You could be a traveling minister and you got somewhere and then you just kind of, they came up for an altar call, but there should be something in place where you were at or at the church they got saved at that would be able to help them grow. And also, if it's a particular thing, you can impart your skills, not only life skills and skill sets to do, a variety of things, but also pertaining to ministry and such. And it's a huge blessing. And we'll get down to that in a little bit later. In general terms, I guess we should all seek, to grow in our relationship with God, and the whole congregation should be, like we saw in that verse earlier, seeking to be the disciples as well, but also in a very specific sense, I'm thinking to a calling, almost bringing somebody under your wing, like I use the terminology mentorship, is to be able to bring somebody alongside you and walk alongside them and teach them those kind of things. And there's a couple different examples maybe that I would say kind of bring this out on me. I know some real popular ones. I don't know if you would call this the discipleship thing, but Elijah and Elisha, right? He's like, hey, I want that double portion. I'm not going to let you out of my sight. So they spent time together, and he just kept his eyes on him because Elisha wanted that. He didn't want to be out of that. So he saw a lot of what was going on, and he learned a lot of the specifics and the skills and how to, as far as the things of prophets go, right? He was learning things of God. He was walking alongside, and he was keeping a close eye. Other things like Paul and Timothy, that's also a pastoral thing, a ministry thing, more along the lines of like leadership, right? Maybe you're training someone to take over for you. Maybe you're just training them, and God's going to call them to lead their own thing. But that's a leadership thing as well as mentorship, and then clearly, obviously, when we're thinking of Jesus and the 12 disciples, I mean, it's got the word disciple in it. But you're thinking maybe, modern times, right? Like, I probably am not going to have 12 guys following me around 24/7. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But, so just in my mind currently right now, I'm working with a young man, and I'm endeavoring to do once a week, if time doesn't work out for him, once a month. But however, in your time frame and your set or whatever you got going on, to be able to do that and share that stuff with people and walk alongside them, it also serves as a great basis to challenge, because a lot of times, me particularly, I know God's called me to do great things and to do big things, and sometimes I kind of delayed, not because necessarily I didn't believe I had the skill set or that I didn't even have the knowledge and the wisdom to do it, but sometimes it just took someone challenging me to do that and say, hey, I believe you can do this, or I got your back if this, or let's try it, let's see what God is. But someone who had me under their wing and kind of taught me that, so it's a great motivator to grow if you're challenged by someone who's teaching you, and you have a trusted relationship with, and going back to Matthew, the next verse is says, teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. So like we mentioned earlier, as far as going and making disciples, endeavor to seek out, as one who's got more knowledge and more wisdom and experience. Seek someone out on who to mentor, on who to disciple, on who to share that with. But also, if you flip that around, like if you feel like you're not trained enough yet, go and seek someone out, for whatever reason, maybe not intentional, maybe just where you're at, like you're gonna need to be around other people, and that's what this young man I'm working with is doing. He said, I want to be around other people. He goes, because I don't want to go back to my old life. I want to be around the people that are doing what I want to do and people that are going to teach me stuff. And I said, you don't even know how biblical you're being, man, but keep it up. And I took right advantage of it. Like God was putting that in my face to say, there it is, go for it. And so in my particular story, when I came to God, man, when I got saved, I was like, I wanted anything and everything God. And at that moment, that was, going to church all the time, listening to every time I could be in the doors at church or any preaching, I was there. But also I was learning from those who were serving alongside in other ministry of helps around the church. I started to do things, but I started to watch them and learn from them. And then eventually I started asking things of the pastors and things like that. And around this time when I was, freshly a young believer and stuff, I heard about AFCM, and I had no idea what it was, but I knew our church was a part of it. And lucky, blessed Pastor Rod just happened to be here at that time. And so I just bugged him all the time. I said, what is this? What are they about? What do they do? And if I found out our church was under it and that's our covering, that's our umbrella of ministry, I said, man, I want to know. So, lucky Pastor Rod and Tom Tabor, they get to hang out with me all the time because I wanted to do that. Whether someone was seeking me out, I don't know. But I saw it and I said, somebody train me, somebody teach me. I need to learn about this God, and I know this is a huge blessing in my life, and I'm seeking it out. So yeah, and I was really blessed early on to be in a spot, man, where I just had so many of the AFCM leadership. Either I just ran into them, or they're pastors at my church, or their regional leadership. I connected with those guys, and I sought that out. I went after that, and they were so willing. Praise the Lord, they were so willing to be available and to be teaching and stuff like that. And other simple ways for me is like, I early on did feel like, well, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a ministry head of any sorts, but I found out they had AFCM meetings once a month, and I said, man, I went to one, and I said, I want to just learn about what AFCM's doing worldwide and what's going on in our area and stuff. And it's full of people that got tons more experience, tons more knowledge, different experiences, and a ton of wisdom that I could get. So just hanging out, even having lunch with other members of AFCM and stuff like that, has been a huge blessing to me. And people, seriously, I've been so blessed to have that. But I also sought it out, and God also put other people in my life that were looking to be a blessing, that were looking to do that in discipleship. So yeah, and I believe that that's much more than just like, I'm a Christian, I'm a church, and I went to church and I learned something. Like, actively seek it out, seek to learn more of God and to do the things of God. And like I said, vice versa as well. Seek people out to teach that to and to show that to. Excuse me, sorry. And yeah, I mean, be intentional about it. Grow in God. Do the things. It's more than just a knowledge thing. It's actively seeking to grow and develop in the things of God. Whether that's ministry of helps, or whether that's being a regional or a national director for different ministries and things like that. Just seek it out. Grow in God. I encourage you guys, find them, find disciples, and go seek to make disciples and to be discipled. All right. Have a blessed day. Greetings from Wilmer, Minnesota. Peace. Bye.